used to work overnight security at the port. Graveyard shift, 10 p.m. to 6 a.m., 6 nights a week. The kind of job that sounds peaceful until you realize just how loud silence can get when it stretches over miles of empty land. The port itself was massive, nearly 2 miles across. There were usually 3 of us on shift. Me, Mike, and whoever was unlucky enough to rotate in as the third guard. But we rarely stayed spread out. There was no point. Everything shut down at night, so we'd just stick near the front gate. Mike and I were doing our usual patrol around 2:30 a.m., that dead hour where your body starts begging for sleep and your mind plays tricks just to stay awake. We made our way to the gym, like we always did. The gym was older than most of the buildings on site, the kind of place where the lights flicker for a second before fully turning on. The air inside always felt heavier, like it didn't circulate properly. There was a sauna no one used, weights covered in a thin layer of dust, and the racquetball court, a boxed-in cage of thick glass and smooth walls that made every sound echo too loudly. Usually Mike and I would play a few rounds in there. It helped pass the time, but that night we decided to just work out instead. The building was completely silent. No air conditioning, no humming machinery, just the faint buzz of electricity running through the fluorescent lights above us. It was so quiet that every movement felt amplified. The scrape of a shoe, the clink of metal, even our breathing. About 15 minutes in, I heard it. A thump. Loud, sudden, solid. It echoed through the gym, bouncing off the walls in a way that made it hard to tell where it came from. Mike froze mid-rep. We looked at each other. "Probably nothing," he said. I nodded, even though my stomach had already started tightening. We went back to working out. A few minutes later, this time it was louder, closer. I felt the hairs on my arms stand up. "Lieutenant?" Mike said, already reaching for his radio. We called him. His voice came back instantly calm and clear. "Front gate, that didn't make sense." We both knew what that meant. Whatever made that noise wasn't him. We stood there in silence, listening. At first, nothing. Then it started happening over and over again. Not random, not spaced out, rhythmic, deliberate. Like something was hitting the wall. My chest felt tight. My mouth had gone dry. Every instinct in my body was screaming at me to leave, to get out, to not look. But we did. Of course we did. Because there's something about fear that pulls you closer instead of pushing you away. We moved slowly toward the racquetball court. Each step felt heavier than the last, like the air itself was thickening around us. Mike turned on his flashlight. The beam cut through the dim gym and landed on the glass door. And that's when I felt it, this overwhelming wave of dread. Not fear, not anxiety, dread. The kind that doesn't come from your thoughts, but from somewhere deeper. Something primal, something that knows before you do. My eyes started watering. Not from emotion, but from pure, uncontrollable terror. My body was reacting before my mind could even process what I was seeing. Inside the court, there was a ball, rolling slowly, by itself. No one was inside. No shadows, no movement, just that ball, gliding across the floor like something had just let go of it. My brain tried to make sense of it, tried to find logic. Maybe it bounced earlier, maybe it was still moving. But then the ball slammed into the wall, hard, like it had been thrown. I flinched so violently I nearly fell back. The ball hit the wall and came back. Again, over and over, like someone invisible was playing. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't think. There was no delay between hits, no time for the ball to travel naturally. It wasn't bouncing. It was being thrown. Something was in there. Something we couldn't see, and it knew we were watching. That realization hit me like ice water. The ball stopped, dead still, right in the center of the court, and for a moment, everything went silent again. That horrible, suffocating silence, then slowly, the ball began to roll. Toward us, not fast, not aggressive, just deliberate, like it was being sent, an invitation or a warning. I don't even remember deciding to run. Oh, 1 second I was standing there, frozen, and the next I was screaming, actually screaming, and sprinting out of that building like something was right behind me. Mike was right beside me, yelling, cursing, not even looking back. We didn't stop. Not until we reached the front gate. The lieutenant saw us, 2 grown men, armed security guards, running like terrified kids. "What the hell is wrong with you?" he asked. I tried to speak, but my voice wouldn't work. My throat felt locked. Mike ended up explaining, stumbling over his words, and I'll never forget the look on the lieutenant's face, because he didn't laugh. He didn't question it. He didn't look surprised. He just sighed, like he'd been waiting for this. "That's why people don't last here," he said quietly. "You finally saw it." My stomach dropped. "Seen what?" I managed to ask. He didn't answer right away. Instead, he took us into the office and pulled up the security footage. And what I saw there? I wish I hadn't. Dark shapes, not shadows cast by anything. No, these moved on their own, sliding across floors, passing through walls, stretching and shrinking in ways that didn't make sense. Lights flickering on and off with no one near the switches, doors opening slowly and slamming shut. And in one clip, a figure, standing in a hallway, tall, wrong. Its proportions off. It didn't walk, it just shifted. Closer to the camera, frame by frame. I felt like I was going to be sick. "That place," the lieutenant said, pointing toward the darkness beyond the gate, "has something in it, always has. I quit not long after that. I couldn't stay. Not after knowing, not after feeling that thing. Noticing me. Even now, I still wake up some nights, heart racing, convinced I hear that sound again. And sometimes, I swear I can hear something else mixed in with it, something faint, something that almost sounds like laughter, waiting for me to come back."